well, hi, you guys. My name is Christen Falcon. Aatsi Komotsaki is my Blackfeet name. I am a Beaver woman. My grandparents are Charlene Running Rabbit and George and Claire Nightgun Falcon. So today I'm going to be talking to you guys about three things. One, first, our title, the traditional diet study. What is the traditional diet study? And vampires. So those are the three things I'm going to be talking to you guys about today. So, but first, who am I here on behalf of? So I'm here with Piikani Lodge Health Institute. We're a nonprofit based here in Blackfeet country. There's a few other presentations that we have that are also going on. They'll be right after this as well. But this is one of the segments that we do within Piikani Lodge Health Institute. And so I do want to give a shout out though to our director, Kim Paul. She is the reason why we're able to do the research that we do, coming from the Blackfeet ideologies, coming from our own methodologies and our own Blackfeet ways of knowing and being. And so this is actually my third year with PLHI, and but right now, I've done many hats with PLHI, but within this third year, what I've been mostly working on is providing research for the diet study and really just doing a lot of community engagement. So you can find me a lot out with a lot of our kids out on the land, doing traditional games, trying to do harvesting, teaching harvesting, getting our youth hooked up with different elders, our knowledge holders within the community to be able to kind of learn these different things. And so first, what is the diet study anyways? Dun, dun, dun. Oh man, one of my pictures didn't come in. So the construct of this diet study is working with our community members here within Blackfeet country. It's working with our community members. We're going to be working with about 10 to 16, just kind of depending on all those that want to join this study. And so the study will last around 100 days, 14 weeks. And within the diet study, they're going to have access to their traditional foods. We've been collecting traditional foods for the last few years, whether it's berries, we've harvested buffalo, we've harvested elk, different roots, different medicines and whatnot. And when our participants come on, then themselves will be able to learn the different ways of how to be able to harvest, knowing the stories, know the protocol, knowing the phenology of our plants. We'll be working with knowledge holders, we'll be working with practitioners within the community to be able to kind of guide these participants throughout their whole entire way. And so with that also, we have many activities that are going to be going on, whether it is working with our knowledge holders, attending ceremony, learning how to correctly harvest an animal, learning how to harvest our traditional plants and medicines, learning the protocol, the story, the songs, everything that comes on with that. And but really just trying to learn just the wellness and connection to the land and really trying to reestablish that connection with each other. And so first, how are we even going to do this anyways? Okay, so right now, currently what we're waiting on still, I know some of you have heard me sing this song and dance for a while, but so Blackfeet Nation has a review board, and in order to work with humans, in order to work with any type of research, you need to get it passed through. So Blackfeet community does everything from a Blackfeet standpoint, and so we're not going to ask universities or people outside of Blackfeet country if we can conduct research. No, we are going to ask our own people and to make sure that we're doing it in a very ethical way. And so currently we are waiting on our review board process to finally pass. We do have the okay, but we do not have the letter that says you can start this, you can start working with human subjects. And so we are still definitely waiting on that. But in the meantime, we've been doing a lot of community work, a lot of youth work, definitely things like that. But how are we going to track our participants' journey? And so we have a qualitative and a quantitative study of what we'll be doing. So the quantitative part of our study is collecting 3 biosamples. So our participants in the beginning will start out their journey with, first of all, writing how do they feel, start tracking how do you feel day to day, how are you sleeping, how do you react to things, how is your stressors. And within that, we're going to be doing the 3 biosamples. They'll be taking the first biosample in the beginning of the study, in the middle of the study, and then the end of the study to track to expose any changes with their A1Cs, their cholesterols, HDL, LDL, omega-3s versus omega-6s, our C-reactive proteins, our stressors, our cortisol levels, different things like that. But really, we really want to just know the increased knowledge that our participants are getting from being able to be a part of the study. And then the qualitative part of the study is we have an instrument that we create, a survey instrument for our participants to be able to follow through, to be able to either bi-weekly start asking, how are you feeling? Are you sleeping better? Are you reacting a lot better? Are you connecting with your traditional ways, ceremony, the land, the plants, animals, things like that. So that's part of it. So what we do want to know is, how does this diet study will affect our community? And so this is definitely the diet study itself. To this extent, has not been executed within any other traditional or any other tribal nation. And so to this extent, we are going pretty far and doing something that hasn't actually been done before. But what the very important part of this is knowing how this can impact our community. Will this reduce health disparities like chronic diseases, diabetes, cancers, things that are going on with our brain, like our mental health, our anxieties, our depressions, different things like that. And so what we want to do is, just trying to get people healthy and whatnot, but doing it through our own Blackfeet methodologies, doing it through our own Blackfeet ways of knowing and being. So far too long, we've paid attention to the Western ways of health and how they do things, and that we've seen in our community time and time that it's not working out for us. And so we need to do it from a Blackfeet way of knowing and being. And see, the thing about Western sciences why is this research so important? And so we talked a little bit about the Western side of things and how our health hasn't been working with our people continuously going to IHS, our people continuously trying to implement things that hasn't worked for us. And so we are using our Blackfeet ways of knowing and being, and with this Indigenous science, we'll be able to do something that other Indigenous communities will be able to use as well as a platform. And so the thing about Western science is that they think that they're superior to the natural world. While Indigenous place-based science, we know that we are in relation with the natural world, with the water, with the land, with our plants, with the aliens, with Bigfoot. We know we are in relationship with all of these things, but sometimes in our colonized mindsets, we still kind of forget that we've stayed on this land for thousands and thousands of years, and all the energy that comes from this land is still very much there, but sometimes we're just unaware of it. So trying to get our community more in relationship with that, and how are we going to do that? How are we going to make this digestible to our community? Well, really quick, I wanted to show you guys a video of kind of how Western science is reacting to the way, so Western science is starting to now kind of realize that our plants and our animals have a consciousness to them, that something that Piikani people and something that Indigenous people have always known is that we've always known that there's energy with the land, that things have consciousness, that things are living beings. And so I just wanted to show you guys this really quick.
There's been a revolution in vegetal biology. Science now shows that plants appear to be sentient beings. They perceive light, smell, touch, water, and many more variables than we do. They can learn, remember, and communicate. They exhibit the traits that we associate with personhood. Experimental science has confirmed that plants can see when you're standing next to them and the color of your shirt. They don't have eyes, but they have the same photoreceptor proteins all over their bodies that humans have at the back of the retina. Plants don't have brains, but they translate information into electrical chemical signals in their cells identical to the ones used by our own neurons. A plant may not have a brain, but it acts like a brain, says Narby. The word neuron comes from the Greek for vegetal fiber. Neurons actually look like the cut of the inside of the plant. Research over the past 30 years has illuminated profound intelligence throughout nature. Dolphins and many other animals recognize themselves in a mirror, long a scientific measure of intelligence. Pigeons have better memory for paintings than do college students. Sheep have better memory of human faces than humans have. Bees that are invertebrates with brains the size of a grain of sugar can consistently process abstract concepts in tests that require perceiving sameness and difference. It's true. But you gotta give it up for slime molds.
And so even in this video, we're talking about, I mean, scientists are just now realizing that our plants are alive, that we can connect with our plants. But with indigenous folk, with Blackfeet folk, we have always known this. We have always been a part of this. And so one thing about, have you ever guys heard the term of epidemiology, epigenetics? And so we have cell memory that has transferred through our blood, has transferred through our own cell memory for the memory that has held with us for thousands of years. So when colonization started and we were put into many trauma places, a lot of trauma came into our land and affected us in many ways. And so now today we see the consequences of all of this. So we see a lot of, of course, drugs and alcohol, suicide, a lot of terrible things that are within our community. And we can then say, okay, well, our people were so affected that traumatization was then passed down to these generations that we currently have. But the thing about epidemiology is that we were only colonized within the last 200 years, but we have thousands and thousands of years of maintaining this land and being within this land. So if that's when it kind of hit me in my own being of doing this research on myself and family and just living this life myself, is it was kind of an aha moment, is if epidemiology can carry on trauma cells within 200 years, then thousands and thousands of years worth of energy, worth of songs, worth of love, worth of teachings can also come within ourselves too. And I use myself a lot in my own research of how my life has changed from years ago till now, and then how the land really has helped me with that, how harvesting, how working with our animals, how working with our land has affected not only myself and family in a very positive way, but the energy that is carried within this land. We, like I said, oftentimes we don't think about it. And so we do have this knowledge within us, and the things that we can start to do is to take these baby steps and to be able to start to acknowledge these different things. And so, like, if we're out picking a berry and eating these things, we realize we know where that energy is coming from. Whereas we have a meal, we have burgers and fries. Okay, well, we don't know where those potatoes came from. They could have came from a field from miles and miles away. And then what's going on with that field? What's going on with that soil? Is that potato prayed over? Is it disrespected? Is that land continuously getting ripped up? And then that soil is then giving a very unenergetic nutrients into our food today. And then if you think about your burger too, if you think about a cow, what does a cow all have to go through in the process? What does a cow have to go through the process of being taken from its original lot and then put into this feedlot where they're cramped, where they feel anxiety, where they feel these different tensions. No, you're okay.
We're kind of lost.
No worries. And so when we're eating these foods, we're starting to wonder, why do we have these low vibrational feelings? Why are we having anxiety, depression? Why are we feeling so tired all the time? Why are we feeling uneasy? And so a thing that I like to talk about is we have a thing called a gut brain. And so the vagus nerve. And so we have whatever we eat is getting transmitted to our brain completely. I think of it as a radio transmitter. Whatever is going in is being transmitted to the brain. And so if we're eating these low vibrational foods, these unnutritional foods, our brain is then misinterpreting those signals. And misinterpreting those signals, then we're starting to see anxieties, these mental health issues, and the list goes on, these chronic diseases, all of these things that our brain is misinterpreting. And so what I often call this energy, I call this energy a vampire. So we're getting to the vampire section. The reason why I call this energy a vampire is because when colonization began to happen, when our buffalo was killed off, when fences were put into place, when Glacier Park came in and took our land, when the Canadian border set up their borders, when rations, when commodities came in. To me, that was a vampire that stuck its fangs into us. It stuck its fangs into our community and spread. It slowly spread diseases, it spread illnesses in our brain, in our bodies. But the thing about energy and Blackfeet methodology is everything has energy. And so if this bad energy is still energy, we can still make relationship with it. And if we can make relationship with it, we can think of this vampire as a sick relative. Well, what do we do for sick relatives? We take care of them. We nurture them. We nourish them. And so these are the ways that we can start thinking about our food and our illnesses and our mental health issues and all of these things as a type of energy to be able to take care of. And so with this diet study and within some of this work that we do, that Fast Blackfeet, the work that they do and providing these nutritional foods, the work that our regenerative grazing team does with helping producers with soils, with making sure that their vegetation, making sure that their cattle have good things to eat, so that then in return, our community, our people will have things and nutritional things to eat. It's like what we're trying to do is create a snowball effect. And so we're taking on these 10 to 16 participants. And so you think of it as like one of your family members takes on this diet study, a person that really doesn't know how to cook healthy for themselves or where to even go and look for these traditional foods, or doesn't, do kind of cultural activities. And so we're taking them, we're utilize them as a way of, we're providing all this education, all this material to them, the food to them, showing them how to work with this food, showing them where to go get this food, how to seed collect, the protocol, the stories behind these plants. And so they're being ingrained with all of this culture, with all of this knowledge. And at the same time, the hope is that with the snowball effect, that they start shedding those habits that don't really serve them, and then putting on new habits that is serving them, that will serve their family, that will serve their friends. And so with that, and seeing if there is change with that person, can they affect their household? Are they a parent that can then feed their children nutritional things? Are they a friend that has another friend that's ill and that could subject that friend to a new healthy lifestyle? And with that, we continuously want to see more and more health gained. So we've done a pilot study in the past. This will be the first actual study that will be conducted, and all the data. And so, we hope for the second study to be even longer, to have more participants involved with this. And this just kind of really circulates into all the other work that Pequotney Lodge Health Institute is doing as well. So we do plan to carry this on more and more. And then also there's very many partnerships that we have within the community, like Fast Blackfeet or other programs that do stuff with food sovereignty. Yeah.
So what do participants be meeting? Like, do they meet as a group and you keep in touch with them throughout the whole thing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so at the beginning, the plan is to individually work with them and just kind of seeing how they live their life and what kind of things that, are just normal things within their lives, and then introducing them into the group and then working with them as a group. So the activities that we'll be doing is, going out and harvesting, seed collecting, working with knowledge holders, doing different various activities on the land. And we'll do that as a group, whether it's like meal prepping or going over educational things. So definitely a lot of it will be group work, but if it is needed to do individual work, that is also going to be happening.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a lot more work on your guys' end to be doing all the education along with it, but I like that you have that included, because it's not just about like literally the act of eating, it's about the whole lifestyle.
Yeah, there's so much going to be to it. And then working, of course, with our other community people. So I wouldn't be surprised, Mackenzie, for just knocking at your door when we show up and we're hanging out for a couple of evenings. So, yeah.
I've done similar work to this a while ago, but we came at it from a different kind of angle. We were actually looking for ways or providing opportunities for the elders to pass on the knowledge to the children. things like this as a way to achieve that, and then of course all of the diet stuff, and it's, you know, it turns out really great. What we found was after a while people didn't want the Western food anymore, they didn't like it. You know, 'cause it does taste funny when you don't eat it. It tastes like someone got a cup of sugar and a cup of salt and put something in it.
Oh, yeah.
And made something, that's what it tastes like. And so we had some quite long-term success actually. Just that change, and people started wanting traditional food.
I mean, with the 100 days though, is that we needed a long enough time to be able to study that A1C. So you don't get an actual change within the A1C before 90 days. And so we needed to be able to affect that. But then you also think about habits. It takes a month to be able to break a habit. And so trying to get our participants that come from drinking coffee all day, eating chips, eating, you know, different these processed foods, it's gonna take a while for them to start getting used to those more healthier, those traditional foods. And so there's gonna be a time lapse where it's gonna be a lot of care that's given to them. Even the way our meal prep designed is to gradually get them, and so we're not doing a complete shock to their system of just here's some berries and roots and you're going to eat that every day. No, we're very much trying to gradually get them into that so that they then incorporate, even if it's small amounts, even if it's drinking a cup of tea a day and then, you know, increasing your foods. We don't want to say let's completely get rid of all these foods. We don't want to do that. We want to say let's start adding these traditional foods, let's start adding these healthier foods and see where we go with there. Yeah.
I found this really helpful. I really liked your presentation.
Thank you.
So